Dangerous Dan McFoo is a Warner Brothers cartoon from 1939. This is directed by Tex Avery and written by Rich Hogan and Robert W. Service, with a voice cast including Tex Avery, Sara Berner, Mel Blanc, Robert C. Bruce, and Arthur Q. Bryan. And Dan McFoo is in this saloon. His girlfriend Sue is there. Sue is voiced by Sara Berner, and she sounds like Katharine Hepburn. Me being a huge Katharine Hepburn fan, I rather enjoyed that. And Dan McFoo is enraged when another character who is much taller and bigger than he is decides to start flirting with Sue, and a fist fight ensues. And the majority of the cartoon is these two characters fighting. I don't care for fighting or boxing based anything, so that part of it didn't appeal to me. So personally, aside from the Katharine Hepburn impersonation, I didn't really care for very much of this. That being said, I feel like it's a decent animation. The actual animation quality itself is very good, but the story actually manages to last for the 7 or 8 minutes without ever really faltering. It seems to just have this consistent energy. And even though it's repetitive, it seemed like there was always something different happening. And I think the main reason for this is because they moved to different locations around the saloon. And at one point, one of the characters is getting a haircut or something. I can't remember exactly. But there are just little things here and there that help to keep things fresh and a little bit different. So even though the fight is the bulk of the cartoon, there are always a couple of other things going on at the same time, and I think that really worked. And I think that's why I didn't mind it. I didn't love it. It's never ever going to be my favourite, but I found it to be watchable. And for me, with a fighting-based cartoon, that's a really good thing. And if you're into that kind of cartoon, then I think you might actually really love it. Dan McFoo as a character is not that interesting. Had they decided to make this character recurring, wouldn't have been one that I would have taken to. But having said that, if the scenarios were different, maybe it would be a completely different story. We do have one character, the other character Dan McFoo is fighting, who sounds an awful lot like Elmer Fudd. Just every now and then he sounds a lot like Elmer Fudd. Put it this way, I knew it was Mel Blanc voicing that character before I looked at IMDb. But the voice acting across the board is very good, and obviously, being a fan of Katharine Hepburn, Sara Berner's Katharine Hepburn impersonation for the character of Sue definitely worked very, very well for me. So it is a decent cartoon. Maybe for me, I didn't completely love it because the story just didn't appeal to me very much. But other than that, it was actually pretty decent, pretty interesting. Maybe not my all-time favourite, but it was okay. The animation is very good, the characters are fine, the voice acting is very good. So if it sounds like it would appeal to you, or if you're just a fan of Warner Brothers cartoons in general, then Dangerous Dan McFoo is one that I definitely recommend.